I'm here today to talk about something that many of us probably are scared of, and that is change. Change is a big thing, and it makes sense why a lot of us fear it sometimes. Change takes us out of our levels of comfortability and throws us into a whole new level of uncomfortability and kind of unsureness for our lives. And that is what it does, but it's something that we cannot run from. It's something that we have to face, because the more that you face it and you accept change, the more comfortable you get with it, and the more you realize that maybe it worked out better than what I thought. A lot of the times you feel like you kind of are in control of your life and you have a plan, and you know each step of your life, like down to the days. There was times in my life where I would like plan out weeks and I would know what I'm doing like each day, because I had this really strong plan for what I wanted in my life, or I'd write it down in notes, in my notes app, or I would just envision my life a certain way. And then I was so sure that this is how my life wanted to go, and my heart was stuck on the vision that my mind made for me about my life. But then suddenly it was just like a light switch and something changed. And one day I just like woke up. It seemingly happened overnight, but it doesn't. One day I just woke up and it just changed, and you just have a different feeling and you don't really know why. I think there's a lot of different types of change too. There's change like that where something just happens, you just wake up and you kind of are just like, oh, I don't really want to do this anymore. I actually want to do something else. And then there's a type of change where something happens and you can't go through with the plans you once had, or you can't really continue to go down the path that you thought you wanted to. And both of those types of change, I believe, are inevitable. Everything just happens sometimes, and things just happen. The is what it is happens, and you kind of are just left to pick up where you are now, and you're left with the decision of where you want to go. The reason why I was scared of change before is because I got so comfortable with being where I'm at, and I got so comfortable with the life that I had. I would get really anxious when something changed and something came into my life that changed the path that I had made up in my head. And it kind of just leaves you in a spotlight of uncomfortability, and that's scary. But you can decide what you want to do with that fear. You can either run from it and run from the change and just not want to deal with it, and then continue going down a path of resistance for something that you envision for your life and that your mind makes up for your life. Or you can accept that change and accept the fear and go with it and run with that fear instead of running against it. It's okay to be afraid, and fear is, I think, one of the most powerful emotions that we can feel on this planet. And I think we can really change a lot about our lives if, instead of running from the fear, we work with it. And I feel like if you're kind of afraid of what the rest of your life is going to look like because your plans fell through, then that actually just opens so many more doors for you. And you kind of realize that you don't need to have everything figured out. And it's actually beautiful to be uncomfortable in not knowing what your life is going to look like. I feel like we kind of lose the excitement of life if we know too much, and if we overplan and we kind of build a vision for life, because like I talked about before, the future that we make up is an illusion, and it's okay for that illusion to fall apart, and it's okay for your plans for your life to fall apart. Because change and the fear of change is also something that pushes us to grow. And how are you ever going to grow if you're comfortable? How are you ever going to grow if you don't know what it's like to be uncomfortable or be in fear? Fear pushes us to grow, and it pushes us to look at uncomfortability in the face and look at the not knowing in for what it is and just accept it and then keep going. I kind of always think about how powerful it is to not know what's happened. This is happening in your life, not know what's happening currently, not knowing where your life is going, and then continue down that line of not knowing, accepting for each moment that comes in, accepting it for what it is. And then eventually when things start to work out, you look back and just realize how lucky you were to be uncomfortable in that moment and how lucky you were to have things change. If you resist change and you resist things from happening to you, then they're never going to go away. That resistance is going to make you bitter and is going to make you resent your life. And I don't think we should be living like that. You shouldn't live with resentment and bitterness for your life when you haven't even seen the full picture. It's not possible to see the full puzzle and to see the completed puzzle when you're working on it and you're currently living it. And you just have to trust that everything is going to work out. And you have to trust that all the puzzle pieces are going to fit together and everything is going to come into play and it's all going to make sense and the picture is going to be beautiful in the end. You just have to trust and you have to accept the change and you have to accept that some things in your life don't fit and some things in your life don't work the way that you thought they would and don't work with the things that you thought they would. And you just have to let it go and then continue and find another piece that fits in the puzzle and just keep going. And then eventually that picture is going to be complete and the puzzle is going to be complete and you'll be so relieved and so proud of yourself and filled with so much joy rather than if you just constantly lived in fear and kept trying to make the puzzle fit when it didn't. We don't have to live in fear. We can work with fear and we can use it as a tool to help us grow. Sometimes things have to change in order for it to get better. If you're constantly resisting and you're constantly trying to hold on to things that you need to let go of, then that's just going to create more anxiety in your life. And you just have to let go of the things, even though you want it so bad. Just let it go and trust that it's all going to work out and that everything is going to make sense and that the puzzle is going to come together. Music has a really strong quality of helping us get through the feeling of fear of change and getting through difficult moments of change in general. And that is why we have Wellness with Wallows on this channel. Wellness with Wallows is dedicated to my love for music and how it has helped me understand my own emotions as well as the people around me and the world around me. Music has a really strong healing quality, I believe, and just kind of opens our eyes to what we need to know. And artists have a really powerful gift in relaying the messages of the world and connecting with us throughout time and throughout different arrangements in different music. The wellness part is because music helps us be well and stay well, and the Wallows part is because Wallows is my favorite band. So the song I would like to discuss today is actually one of my favorite songs, and it's called It's All Over Now, Baby Blue by Bob Dylan. Bob Dylan is an iconic artist with a lot of really complex but really amazing songs. And this song I kind of held close to my heart while I was graduating college and kind of like that last month of school, and just in general I think it kind of stands the test of time with dealing with change and letting go and just accepting it for what it is. So there's a few lyrics I would like to point out, and the first one is actually the first lyric of the song, and it goes, "You must leave now, take what you need, you think will last. but whatever you wish to keep, you better grab it fast. I love this lyric because I think it kind of speaks on kind of the silliness of being human and just kind of wanting to keep all of our possessions and all of the material and like artificial stuff in the world. And it kind of is just saying like throughout life we collect all these different things and we think that that is going to be the thing that lasts, but in reality none of that lasts. And whatever you wish to keep, you can grab it, try to grab it fast, but at some point you're gonna lose it and things are going to change. And the you must leave now, I mean, time is constantly moving and you just must keep constantly moving with it and constantly growing. It kind of is just like accepting that there's things in life you can't keep and things in life that won't last, and you just have to accept that and let it go and just keep moving. The next lyric I would like to talk about is towards the end of the song, and it goes, "Leave your stepping stones behind there, something calls for you." I love this because it kind of was talking about what we were saying earlier, that there's always going to be something that comes into your life that calls for you. You're always going to have some sort of calling. Your soul is always going to have some sort of calling, and you have to leave what you've previously learned, those stepping stones that you took to this current moment. You got to leave those behind, but also recognize that they helped you grow. The things that you once desired and the things and the plans that you once had for your life really, in the end, helped you grow. But there's going to be a point where you have to leave that behind, and your true calling is going to come, and you have to follow it, and you have to go with it, and you just have to trust that your soul knows what is best for you. And the last lyric is the last lyric of the song, and it goes, "Strike another match, go start anew, and it's all over now, baby blue." Just the way the song ends with this lyric kind of is just, it's kind of like bittersweet, and that's what change is. Change and growing is bittersweet. You're bitter because you want things to stay the same, and you don't want to be uncomfortable, but it's sweet because it's changing and life is changing and you don't know what's to come, and you don't know how beautiful life can get if you are living in the past and you're living in the comfortability you made up for yourself. If you're living in your comfort zone, you don't know how beautiful life can get unless you step out, strike another match, and start again, and just follow what your soul and your heart has planned for you instead of your mind, and realize that your old life, your old plans is over now. You just have to live life to the fullest, and it's never too late to start again and to keep growing and to accept change and to keep working with it instead of running from it. Bob Dylan is kind of a complex writer, so I believe that this song can be interpreted multiple different ways, and I know that's probably what he intended for this song, but that's kind of the way I interpret it, that things end, and it's okay that that happens, and it's okay that things end and things change, and sometimes the ending brings you to an even more beautiful beginning, an even more beautiful story, and the change leads you to grow. So if you've been dealing with a lot of change in your life recently, just know that it's okay, and that you don't have to know the full picture. You don't have to know the full story in order to feel comfortable. Work with your fear that you're feeling. Don't resist it. Don't run from it, and don't try to change it. Know that the change sometimes leads you to things that are way better than you could have ever planned, and that change is good, even though it is scary. And you're always going to be okay, and I'm here for you always.